Hey guys! Hello! Welcome back to the last stream of the Illustration and Digital Painting Week. It's so sad. I'm here with Sophie Diao. I'm Kathleen. Welcome, Sophie.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Kathleen.
Yeah! Were you guys here for the rest of Sophie's streams? She streamed yesterday, the day before. Let us know in chat if you've been here the whole time. Hello, Ray, Eileen, Hype. So cool. So Sophie's been working on one illustration throughout the whole week, and during this stream we're going to be doing two things. Well, maybe three things. One, she's probably going to be finishing that illustration, we think, and then who knows what to do after that. But then we're going to be doing a giveaway in about an hour, so all you have to do is be here and be active in chat. We'll talk more about that in a bit. And then we're also doing a contest, and this is your very last chance to win the contest. So the theme for today is Crown, and it's inspired by one of Corey's beautiful illustrations. All you have to do is make an illustration based around the theme of Crown using Photoshop or Illustrator CC 2018, and then send it to us either via a bit.ly link, so it's bit.ly/submitadobe, or go to be.net/live and click on the contest tab. And we'll pick, Sophie will pick a winner in about an hour and 45 minutes.
Very exciting.
Good? Yes, it's been hard.
Yeah, it's been super hard.
Yeah.
Because there's so much at stake.
There is a lot at stake. But I'm really encouraged by the amount of entries we've been getting. Been getting a lot. Gotta watch 3 plays. Hello again. Very cool.
Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah. Oh, you saw us yesterday. Nice. But like I said, this is the last stream of this week, but do not fret. This is a weekly stream every Tuesday through Thursday. Artists and creators will be here 9 to 5 Pacific time, and you can always watch the replays on the Creative Cloud YouTube channel. Awesome. How many of you guys in chat know Sophie's work? Have you seen her Google Doodles? She is a Google Doodler. Correct?
Yep.
Your day job? Yeah. And what else? You do freelance?
I've done freelance for animation. I've done some stuff for Steven Universe, some stuff for Dreamworks TV, Disney TV, Chromosphere, some various commissions here and there. Yeah. So if you see my work, that's super great and flattering.
Yeah. I know you have a lot of fans in chat, and maybe we can take a peek at your work. Oh, can they see it? We just can't see it. And maybe you can talk about how you've gotten to this so far. There we go.
So far. So you mean like today, like this illustration? Or?
Yeah. How have you become an artist?
Okay, yeah. So the first day, if anyone was here the first day, you might remember that like kind of started with a blank canvas and took suggestions from the chat. Lots of really cool key phrases and nouns came through. A few of them were like alien cave with a little creature, or like turtle, donut. So all of those things kind of made it in here in some fashion. You can see there's like, you know, a version of all of those things in here.
Yeah. Don't forget the cactus.
Yeah, and the cactus. So I kind of started with a sketch, and then from there I went and did this. Oh, here's a sketch actually. It's kind of, I'll just hide everything right now. So here's the sketch.
Oh,
and
wow.
then if you recall, I went from this sketch and I did a little color key based on this, and what I do is I make a little version of the painting I'm gonna do, and just like rough everything out very small, very loose, so I can like make sure everything looks somewhat okay in this small version. And then from there I went and started filling things in, so here we are.
Wow, just like that. Boom. Hi, Mom. My mom's in the chat.
Yay!
So cute. Yeah, people were wondering, are you responsible for all of the Google Doodles?
No.
No, it's
No.
that would
There's
be crazy.
like 13 artists or something. Yeah, 13 or 14. And we all kind of split the work.
It's so nice and instructional to see different work styles. Yeah, definitely. What would you say is kind of like your calling card? Can you see it in this piece? Like, is it the way you use light or color, texture?
I think in this piece it's probably the little dudes, these little dudes. I put a lot of them in my work, or like these kind of wavy shapes I've been enjoying putting in recently. Also, like, probably like a lot of contrast, like light to dark, a lot of heavy like shifts in light and color. Those are things I like to paint.
Very nice. Cool. So we're going to hop back into this. What do you see that still needs to kind of be fleshed out? Because it looks almost done.
Yeah, I think it is almost done. So maybe I'll wrap this one up early and start something else for the rest of the stream. But
exciting.
I think I'd like to add some more plants. And like yesterday, I mentioned how when I zoomed in, like this part started to feel kind of messy and muddy. Like the textures are a little bit too obvious and stuff like that. So I want to kind of clean that up, tone it down a little bit so that it's just like more, less Photoshop-y looking, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. I see. Yeah, someone just said, why don't you use Illustrator for this? Because there is that nice kind of sharp and rough juxtaposition.
Good question. For me, Illustrator is a little bit harder to use. I prefer to do Photoshop because it's a lot faster for me. Never quite got the hang of using the pen tool in Photoshop to make these little curvy lines.
Yeah.
And so it's just easier for me to draw them out.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have enough booster seat?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sitting on a bunch of carpets right now, so I can see over my Cintiq.
Magic carpet. That's amazing. Is that a Sasquatch in the back of the cave? Have we decided what that little guy is?
It's a mystery. If you guys want to give this thing a name, please do.
Ooh.
Or like give it a backstory or something.
Yes, let's develop some lore for this world. I wonder. My thought is he's actually not a bad guy. He's like, I smell donuts.
Yeah.
And I want to get me some of that.
Exactly. Or, you know, there may be just like intruding on this creature's space.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right. His name's Bob. People like Bob. Two people have said it. Hank.
Bob.
Bob. Ooh, any more ideas for extra items? Dun, dun, dun.
I can't tell if Bigfoot's supposed to be the name of the creature or something I want to include.
Oh, yeah, right. Could be either. Potentially. George. Oh, yeah, he's a donut delivery guy. It's a very slow delivery service.
I wonder where you got the donut from.
Right. Is it a donut even?
Good question. Maybe there's just donuts hanging from the trees or like the plants or something.
Or it's like a gem donut. Like you mined it. And that monster's like, get off my lawn, stop taking my donuts.
Yep. George the second delivery guy.
That's so specific. Yeah, the donut mine. That sounds like something you'd hear about in Adventure Time. Donut Princess.
Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna start adding in some foliage now, and if anyone wants to chime in with additional little things, like I'm thinking maybe could stick some things in the ceiling of the cave.
Ooh, like objects?
Yeah, like maybe sticking out a little bit. So I'll probably start doing that now.
Ashley would totally be Donut Princess.
Yeah.
Yes. Turtis. Oh yeah, the tortoise was named Turtis. An open chest with some coins inside.
Ooh, that's a cool idea.
Some sort of beverage or some milk, specifically.
Interesting.
Water wrinkles. Cave crinkles and water wrinkles.
Oh yeah, water wrinkles. That's a good idea.
Ooh, bats hanging from the ceiling. Donuts and trees. This is a fat world. No, it sounds like paradise. Oh, donuts inside of the chest instead of coins.
Good idea. Let me see where I can put that. I'll put it like. I'll put it back here.
Oh, the chest? Nice. He's not a monster, you guys. He's a friendly giant, I think. Maybe. Why would you keep donuts in a chest, though? Vlad, this is an alien world. I just don't have the answer for that. So how many of you guys have seen the rest of the streams? There was one yesterday, the day before, or have you seen other streams? Like Corey was right before this. We had Jenny and Roman this morning. I'm personally pretty sad that this is the last stream.
I know, it's happening so quickly.
Yeah. Sophie was saying that she feels like she has to talk out loud now when she's drawing, just like by herself because she's so used to this.
It seems very natural now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mark, this is your first stream. You didn't even know they were on. Well, welcome. How did you find out about it? Was it an email or did you just see the live tab on Behance? Simon is addicted to our streams. Great. Oh, Bruno says, please come back soon. Don't you worry about it. This is a weekly show. So there will be another event next week. It won't be illustration. It'll be UX design. But I'm sure you'll learn a lot there too. And every week it's different. Terry White was just here and he was talking about how there's going to be a photography stream in the future.
Cool.
Dropping hints. And you've been here all 3 days? Oh wow, I don't think I've seen your name in chat. Welcome. Mark, you were looking for inspiration and you saw the live feature on the homepage. Very nice. I love that some people have found these live streams kind of organically.
Mm-hmm.
I like the watercolor. Oh, the watercolor is nice. Yes, I agree. It's so glowy, right? Look at that little chest. He's come together.
It's very random.
Yeah. There's a lot about this that is random. Yeah. It's great.
Hope it works together in the end.
Dre, that's a great question. Can you see these streams from the Behance Apple TV app? I didn't even know there's an Apple TV app for Behance.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah. If not, that is a great feature request. Oh, you might just be able to do, what is it, like Apple Share or Screen Share? AirPlay? Is that what it is? If you watch this from maybe a mobile device. The Lone Chocolate Donut. Rodrigo, I will not be the host, but maybe sometime in the future. Stick around and find out. I really like how you are staying zoomed out. Like you could very easily just fill your entire screen with this treasure chest.
Otherwise it'll get too weird and detailed.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
just a silly donut chest.
Goodbye, Corey. See you later.
It was great meeting you.
Come back soon. Mark says you should make this a weekly thing. It is a weekly thing, Mark. Actually, if you click the schedule tab, you'll be able to see what's coming up in the future. But every Tuesday through Thursday, we are live 9 to 5 Pacific time. And like I said, every week's a different theme. We've done motion graphics, focused on mobile apps in the past. Someone was maybe even mentioning like a game design stream. That would be cool. Don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'm pushing for it. Oh, thank you, Bruno. I highly enjoy it. Munir, will Paul and Rufus be available in the next week live streaming? I'm not sure who the hosts will be. Maybe Adobe Live Team can let us know who they'll be. Or maybe the man behind the curtain can let me know. Okay, so it'll be Paul and Michael. Rufus will not be here. Hello, Aurora. Welcome. Daniel, we do have VODs on the Creative Cloud YouTube channel. So you can watch just the last video, or you can go back weeks and watch other archived videos.
What's VOD?
Oh, video on demand.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy
Yes.
acronyms.
I'm surprised I actually knew what that meant. I didn't know I knew. Yes, Adobe Live playlists. There you go. Are some of these elements from Illustrator, or is everything in Photoshop?
Everything in here is Photoshop. Started in this canvas on Tuesday and still been working with it since.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything else that anyone wants me to include, I think this is almost the last chance, because I think this is like pretty much done. I'm just like noodling now, trying to you know.
It's so interesting because since things are so random, this looks like it belongs in like a real story. Like, why else would there be a donut in a treasure chest
That's a
unless
good point.
it was real?
That's a good point.
And Sophie needs a shirt that says, "I don't use Illustrator." Just lasso tool. Great.
Yeah, here we go, lasso tool.
Yeah, show us how it's done. I know that one of my favorite illustrators and one of my past instructors at art school, Andy J. Miller, he makes a lot of illustrations that look very vectored and crisp, but he actually prefers the Photoshop pen tool over the Illustrator one, which is so weird because the pen tool in Illustrator is like one of the like pride and glories of that app.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, but I think he kind of likes how sometimes non-intuitive the Photoshop version is, or non-sleek. So sometimes you can find these ways to kind of break the system to get a result that you like. Ooh, someone says maybe a baby turtle somewhere.
Oh, that's a cute idea.
Baby
Let's
tortoise.
see.
Vlad, I use Photoshop all the time and lie about my Illustrator skills. Man.
Baby turtle. Maybe I do see someone saying water reflections, so I think I will give that a try.
Cool, I want to
Since
see
I
how you
do that a lot, and it seems like a good opportunity to share.
Please do.
So let's see. So usually what I do is I take whatever I want to be reflected and I just like mirror that part in the water. But I have to kind of be careful here because I have so many layers on top of each other. So first I'm going to organize a little bit all of my layers. So I'm going to just start grouping things by what they are. So I'll name this tortoise, and this is going to be called like left ramp thing.
Nice.
Oh, I think this should go in there too. This is gonna be called Lil Rock. Okay, those are safe. Let's see. Oh, okay, I can delete that now. This is gonna be called Foreground. Frog. Sorry, this is a little boring right now.
No, this is actually, I think, helpful. At least for me.
Yeah. This is going to be called Right Ramp. So, let's see. If I take, let's say I just want to reflect the back right now. So I'll hide all of these, and then I'll just take this and kind of lasso tool over it. And then I think I'm gonna just use the Shift Command C.
Write that down.
Which is to copy everything that's selected.
Oh.
And then I'll make a new layer, and then I'll paste it. So now I have this other piece of the top of the cave. Then I'm gonna flip it vertically, and you can tell there's like some weirdness, you know, like it's not exactly perfect. I think what I'll do is I'll just erase this water part right now. So I'll use the magic wand tool, and I'll just kind of go over it with an eraser to kind of help me get rid of some of this stuff. And then I'll move it up. So that looks pretty interesting. Unfortunately, this right ramp thing isn't quite working out, so here's what I'll do. I'll probably hide that right ramp area if I can get to it. Here it is. Right hill back. So this helps me kind of. This is like a little bit more easy to do.
So when you do that copies everything, do you mean it copies all the layers that are selected in that little
Yeah, it copies
square?
everything that's that it's selecting. So it's just taking like, usually when you do copy, like Command C, it just copies whatever layer you're on if you're selecting. But Shift Command C copies the entire canvas of whatever you're selecting right now.
That's really helpful. I did not know that. I would always like click Shift all the layers I wanted and then copy. Too much clicking. Not a delightful user experience. What's up, Lobo? Welcome. Oh wow, look at that reflection.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's, yeah, so it's kind of, let's see. I'll just label this quickly reflection. It kind of takes away from the glowiness of the water.
Yeah,
I don't know if we really want that for this. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think it should be reflecty or do you think it should be glowy?
Would there be any way to play with like layer modes?
Or
like overlay?
Yeah, let's try doing overlay. It kind of disappears. Or color dodge is one that I like.
Also
Linear dodge, just listed. Yeah, they just all disappear. Multiply looks kind of nice. So I'll probably keep it like this. And sometimes I like to skew it a little bit. So I'll just move this around. Actually, I should zoom out further so I can see the bottom of my box, and then I'll skew it just a little bit. That kind of helps it feel like there's this perspective to the water surface. And so if we look now, it's kind of like there's the water's flat and the reflection of the creature is like moving forward to us in space. And so that kind of helps. I think I like, let's see, you know, there's like this weird area to the left, so I might do something with a layer mask where I do an inverted gradient. So
ooh la la.
Sorry, I'm gonna just invert this really quick. So I want it to be basically only showing the gradient of like this reflection, and then everything else is erased. So the white part of the layer mask is going to be the part of the layer that shows, and then the black part of the layer mask is going to be what's erased. And so that's really helpful if you're making a layer mask that you only want a specific part to show, but you don't want to like take a lot of time erasing or using a brush. So I think I'll probably keep it similar to this. Let's see. That looks kind of, let's see what it looks like normal. Okay, there's really no difference.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's gonna look so cool.
But,
Nope.
you know, it kind of helps. I might move this. So you see how I have this glow here? I might move this layer so that it's beneath the glow, which might help a little bit.
It's
And then
very
I'll just
subtle,
kind of
yeah.
like move this down a little. Maybe even make it like color dodge or linear dodge to give it some more of that color like vibrance. And yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
Claps, clap, claps. That was so cool. I feel like I was just in a classroom learning from a master. Very nice.
Let's see. So now I have this basic reflection of the Yeti or whatever it is. I want to have the reflection of these like individual hills now. So I'm going to take each of those. Let's just see what it's called. So this is right hill back. I'm doing the thing where I use the move tool. I hover over what I want, and then I right click on whatever that layer happens to be, and it'll show me everything that is in front of it. So I think it's right hill back that I want to duplicate, and it turns out that's correct. So I'm gonna duplicate this with Command J, which makes a copy, and then I'm gonna flip it vertically, and then I'm gonna move it down.
Ooh.
So now I have a perfect vertical copy, but you can tell that like the side on the left, it's like, because it wasn't completely horizontal to the piece on the right, it overlaps a little bit. So I'm just gonna do Command E to merge them, and then I'll select this part and move it down.
There you go, problem solved.
Yeah, and there you go. So now I'm gonna do a similar thing where I'm gonna lighten it a lot so that it looks like it's reflecting, but it's not quite it's not quite being reflected very strongly.
Oh.
It's because I want the glowing of the water to really take precedent. The reason why I'm not using the lowered opacity is if I lower the opacity, you're going to be able to see the reflection from behind, underneath, and it's just going to look like a bit awkward, and that's like the way you can really tell that somebody's just doing this in Photoshop and not really thinking about the like what the layers are going to look like. So I'm going to make it 100% opacity. I'm going to do the same thing with a layer mask, where I create a layer mask and I do the gradient. So here, that kind of helps. Let's see. So I'm going to do it like this. I'll make it a little bigger.
Sugar bagels. I like that name for a donut. Guys want some sugar bagels?
So that sort of works. I used this gradient that's the one that's like just a band. It doesn't go across the entire thing. So this way I can kind of control where I want it to be. So for this, I can tell like right here on the left, there's a little hint of something from the other side of the layer. I'm just gonna keep it there. Oops, sorry. I'm just gonna keep it there for now because I'm gonna reflect these ramps as well. So, left ramp is also gonna get reflected. So I do Command J to duplicate, Command E to merge, and then Command T to free transform. So I'm gonna flip it vertically, move this down, and then do the same thing where I make it very light, and I kind of apply another layer mask and then do another round of like softening out the reflection. So it still kind of has that glowy feeling to it, but it doesn't have and then now it has like reflection, so it feels like there's more depth slightly.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like beforehand this looked very much like a piece of concept work, and now to me it feels more like a totally defined illustration. Really nice. I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. I don't know if you guys in chat know this, but there's like a big screen over here that I'm just like watching. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so I'm glad that this is helpful. This is what I do for most of my work that involves reflections, so it's like pretty simple once if you just have to keep everything organized in your head. Not necessarily in layers, but just like you know where everything's gonna get reflected to, and make sure you don't miss any key folders of layers that should be reflected.
Yeah, definitely. I was just gonna say, you know what this requires is some organization. And layers.
It would be
Can really
nice if
help.
they were all named.
Yes. But you still are organized, like you are having folders and merging. There's like some organization to this chaos.
It's very true.
Yeah, Mark, you can watch the old live streams on the Creative Cloud YouTube channel. There should be a playlist of all of the past Adobe Live weeks. So there's already the videos from this past week. They're already up. You can watch them, and then weeks and weeks and weeks in the past. people had said, this is super organized in all
Oh,
caps. Nice.
So, let's see. Okay. Someone asked what's the short key or shortcut to get to the hue saturation. It's Command U, brings up the hue saturation panel. So from here you can just change everything. Super fast. I love it. It's probably a crutch that I shouldn't use too much, but I really like it.
Yeah. Will you repeat that really quickly?
Command U.
Command U.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Very good. Okay. Hue saturation shortcut. Command U. Rodrigo, you got it. Everybody in chat, write that down. Ian, I'm working on your crown painting and it has like 30 layers with no names. Oh no. Yeah, do some like management. Manage those layers. There you go. We're getting lots of awesome submissions for the crown contest so far. So you guys have about an hour and 15 minutes to continue working on your entries and then get them sent over to us. Today the theme is crown. It's been a different theme every day. Today's crown, and it's inspired by this beautiful illustration by Corey. Thank you, Corey, for making this beautiful art. So all you have to do is use Photoshop or Illustrator CC, the most updated version, and make your illustration with some sort of crown reference. It could be all kinds of things. There's been lots of flower crowns. There's been crows wearing crowns, lots of plays on words. And then you just share it to the link, either the one that you see on the screen, bit.ly/submitadobe, or if you're watching on be.net/live, which is the best way to watch because you can chat and enter the contest and do all kinds of stuff, just click on the contest tab and you can submit it there. Now back to Sophie's beautiful artwork.
So now I'm like doing something slightly different for the turtle, because if I flip the turtle, it's just gonna look weird, you know? There's like the bottom of the turtle isn't gonna be showing, you know, weird stuff like that. So I'm just kind of vaguely roughing in the turtle so that it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least it feels like there's like a real depth and like shape and volume to this turtle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Ruben and Jay both say it's awesome.
Yay.
Mm-hmm. What is this turtle's story? How did he get into the donut delivery trade? Was his dad a donut delivery guy?
I mean, it's like the gig economy is so hot right now.
Mm-hmm. I've kind of started dabbling in that with some dog walking.
Oh, nice.
Freelance dog walker. Want your dog walked? Let me know. I love dogs.
Have you had any horror stories with dog walking?
Not yet. I'm very fresh. We're going to be watching a dog this weekend, so like boarding it.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of scary because it's like you're stuck with this dog for multiple days, not just a walk.
Oh, man.
But we'll see. We shall see. People in chat, how many of you guys have pets? How many of you guys love your pets more than life itself? That's how I feel. And you too. You have a cute dog
Yeah.
also.
I love my dog.
Aww. She appears, it's a she, right?
Yeah.
She appears in a lot of your little doodles.
Yes.
She's so sassy looking.
She's a very skinny, pretty looking dog. Like very fast. She's a very fast dog.
Mm-hmm. You actually have a really interesting story of how you got her.
Yeah.
She's like an intercontinental dog.
She came from Taiwan. In Taiwan, there's a lot of problems with stray dogs getting hurt because they're like unwanted and on the street, you know, people will kick them and stuff, and just lots of sad stories. And there's somebody in Taiwan named Mary who started doing this shelter where she takes the dogs in from the street, and then she basically puts her pictures online, and she's like, hey, if you guys want to adopt this dog, like, you know, I've trained her, I've given her like all her shots, and she's like housebroken, so all I have to do is like pay for her to fly over to the US. So that's what we did. That's how we got BB. And she's the best dog ever. So if you guys are interested, I mean, there are lots of dogs here who deserve, you know, to be adopted too. So I'm not saying get your dog from another country, but it's an interesting story and option.
Right. Very true. Our dog's also a rescue, but he's from Louisiana.
Oh, cool.
So not quite Taiwan, but still pretty far.
Yeah.
He's our little bayou boy, straight from the bayou. Your pets live in the digital realm. Are they Neopets? Tell me more. It's my goal. I'm going to talk about Neopets in every single one of these streams. I have to. It's your first time you've heard of an imported rescue? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
And you were saying that
feature.
it's similar to just buying, quote unquote, buying a new dog, like a puppy or purebred or whatever. So not too expensive and totally worth it because they're so sweet and amazing.
Yeah, I think it's an adoption fee of like $400 or something, which is like pretty standard
That
for
is, yeah.
adopting a dog.
That's about as much as my dog was, and he's from here. You have a Siberian Husky. Awesome, Richie.
Oh, that's great.
So pretty.
They are pretty.
Yes, Adobe Live team, thank you for reminding us. It is your last chance to win a free CC subscription by entering the contest. I know I just talked about it, but this is the last stream, so make sure to get your contest entries in. Theme is crown. Send those in over the next about hour and 10 minutes. Sophie will pick a winner, and that person will enjoy a full free year of Creative Cloud, which is super amazing. But in about 20 minutes, we're going to be doing a giveaway. And while you don't win Creative Cloud, you do win 3 amazing posters that were created here live on stream by Robzilla and Jingwei and Christine Heron. You can see them above us right here. They're super beautiful, very different from each other. I love them all. So all you have to do is be in chat in about 20 minutes. We'll get the hype going. You'll know it's coming, don't worry. And we'd love to hear your questions, your thoughts. Yeah, we're excited to do this last giveaway, and hopefully the hype will be real. Real hypey. What dog do I have? The girl who's talking. Hello, my name's Kathleen. He's a mini Australian Shepherd, and he's a good boy.
Cool. I think this is, I mean, unless anyone has any other ideas, I'm probably gonna wrap this up and then do like just some general sketch demos.
Ooh.
So, speak now.
Speak now. Although there's like a 30-second delay, so
Okay.
we'll see it in a couple seconds. But let us know if you want to see anything else, or maybe if you want her to go over little techniques that you see, walk through the process again. Let us know.
Sprinkles on the donut. That's a great
perfect
idea.
Australian, yeah, rep it. Yep, he's a little Aussie boy. Australian Shepherd from Louisiana that now lives in California. Plus Design's got your Nikes on, so you're warming up for the hype. Amazing. Gotta make sure you stretch. The hype train gets going real fast. What happened to the baby turtle, says Magdalena.
Oh, you're right.
That treasure
I will
chest
try.
is full of turtle eggs and nuts.
Oh, that'd be kind of cute and scary to stumble upon.
Like, nothing is more random than a treasure chest filled with eggs.
That would be really, it's like in Godzilla where they find all the egg creatures.
Those things just aren't right. Is Sophie familiar with Bobby Chu? Her style looks like it's influenced a bit by his art.
Nope, not familiar. You can send me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm happy to take a look.
Yeah, Bobby makes cool art, and is he responsible for schoolism? Maybe someone in chat can let me know. Someone named Bobby. What about the giant in the cave? Don't you see him creeping in the background? Being so spooky? Ooh, this has a Samurai Jack feeling. I agree. Look at those little guys.
Yay, sprinkles!
Okay, so yeah, Bobby Chu is the schoolism guy. I've never liked sprinkles. Do you like them?
Oh, I love sprinkles. I can eat them by themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's why I don't like them. I don't feel like they taste like anything.
They're just sugar.
Yeah, it's just
That's
sugar.
the best.
I like chocolate sprinkles. Tastes like chocolate.
Yeah, that's like sprinkly enough.
What do you think, chat? Sprinkly enough? Is it up to par?
Sprinkle.
Nice. Cute sprinkles. I agree, Madison. So what do you think you're going to do with this piece?
I don't know. It could be a print. It's like the right size, so if anyone's interested in this as a print, you can let me know and I might make some.
Heck yeah.
Put it online, share the process.
Ooh, definitely. Do you sell a lot of stuff online?
I have a Society 6 where, like, you know, people can buy pre-made prints and stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna set up a store after next week, after CTN, like selling my leftover stuff. I made a pin.
Really?
Yeah, I made a zine, so I'm gonna sell both of those online after CTN.
Gotcha. Is it the little existential crisis scene?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that
Very
one.
cool. Yeah, anybody in chat gonna be in Los Angeles? CTN? Maybe you'll see Sophie. Yeah, do you have luck on Society 6? Do you recommend it, or what are your thoughts?
I like it in the sense that, like, it's good for me, for lazy people who, you know, don't like to ship things normally. So I kind of just leave it, set it there, forget it, and sometimes people buy stuff. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
People buy stuff.
Right. I've heard that as a freelance artist, something really important to have is like secondary revenue streams. So Society 6 or like an Etsy shop that just has pins on it or whatever, to never really put all your eggs in one basket. Definitely. You calling it?
I think so.
Woo!
'Cause, so I might do like a drawing, just like a general drawing demo now, if anyone's interested in that.
I think they're very interested in that. But let us know. Chat, you interested? You hypey about that? There probably are.
Yay. Okay, cool.
The delay is so funny. Like, you ask for hype, and then a minute later, the chat's like, craziness.
Demo,
Okay, yeah.
please. Okay, cool. Let's do a demo. So, what should I draw?
Oh, Michael, if you missed the contest, do not worry. We have one more, and you have 1 hour officially to submit your artwork. So make an illustration with the theme of crown, and then send it to us either via the contest tab or bit.ly/submit Adobe. What should Sophie draw? A potato. Done.
Potato. Potato.
There you go.
My dog. I love drawing my dog.
Oh,
okay, that's a
yes.
great idea.
You already have her on your computer.
Yeah. So my dog is she's so skinny. She has like this long face that she has like this sweet expression all the time, like all these eyebrows being cocked up all the time.
Aww.
And she has floppy ears. Like triangular ears, but they're floppy. She has like a very sturdy construction, but she's like very skinny too, so she's like basically shaped like this.
Yay. LOL, streamer drawing a doggy. What has the world come to? Paradise. That's what it's come to.
And then she has this long, like, very powerful tail. She wags it all the time and it hurts.
Oh, it like smacks you.
Yeah, she's like, ah, I'm so excited. She's like smacking her tail all the time. And yeah, smacking it back and forth because she can't control it.
It's really going crazy.
Yeah.
All those action lines. I actually drew my dog the other day and I was like, wow, he's made up completely of action lines. That's all he is.
Yeah. she's very fun to draw. I've had a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Save this. Put this to one side.
There you go. Anything else? Anything you guys have trouble drawing? Maybe Sophie
Yeah, I
could.
can do like some instructional stuff if you guys have any ideas. Anything you've wanted to learn how to draw?
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you had to study really hard to learn how to draw?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of trouble drawing, ironically, quadrupeds, like
Oh.
four-legged creatures.
Mhm.
Just because I was so used to drawing people when I was younger.
Same.
And so I kind of had to learn like the construction of where an animal's like head goes,
Mm-hmm.
its relationship to the chest, and like the relationship of like the rib cage to the spine to the pelvis, and then kind of like how the legs work. Usually the legs, like, it's kind of weird because this is the heel
Mhm.
apparently, and that was very strange to me. And then this, usually there's like an action line here, so there's like these big shoulder blades,
Mhm.
and then the heel again, and then yeah, it's just kind of interesting, like very kind of like a human but like bent over, and
Yeah.
totally similar but different like setup.
Yeah. Like we've got all the same parts,
Mhm.
just in different places.
So like this, and also surprisingly, like let's say this is a bear, they have like really burly construction, but
Mhm.
their like like is quite small.
Mhm.
They just have a lot of like fat and stuff here to
Yeah.
like, and so what they're composed of doesn't necessarily
Wow.
reflect what they
Mhm.
look like. I don't know, this is a bad drawing of a bear, but you can kind of get it. Like,
Right. No,
it's very
definitely.
interesting.
Mhm.
Very interesting creatures.
Man. So why did you have to learn? Did you just want to, or was it a job that you're like, crap, now I need to know how to draw a bear or a quadruped?
In animation school, we do like animation exercises and
Mhm.
stuff, and that's one of the things is like animate a four-legged creature walking, like
Oh,
animate
yeah.
a walk cycle,
Mhm.
and it's like very confusing. I still don't quite understand it. They like
Mhm.
lift one of their legs, so these are their legs, their feet on the ground, and then like I shouldn't be teaching this because I don't really know it, but like basically like you have to know the pattern of when this leg lifts, like this leg lifts, and then the walking is different from the running, and
Yep.
then like different from like the even faster running.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like one of those like hard to visualize things.
Yeah, I did. I took animation 1, so I had to do a walk cycle one time, and I was
Mhm.
like, what even? How? Where does one leg go when the other one's doing it? I don't know. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Draw a car. I want to see your take on it. So Glorin is like a professional car drawer, so I think he's just trying to get you to take the bait.
Okay, I'll draw a car. Draw a car. Okay, a car is one thing that I'm also very bad at drawing because I
Ooh.
don't ever try. But let's see. So, draw a car from this. This is like the top of the car. This is the back of the car. This is the front of the car. Usually the wheels are like in front, I guess.
Oh, like of the windows.
Yeah. There's like some balance involved in the construction of the car. And then there's like the door. And then the back window, the back door. There's a quarter panel thing, because people always get those replaced. There's like the mirror. The bumper goes over the thingy, the wheel. Oh man, this is such a bad drawing of a car.
It's a cute little car.
Okay. Okay. And then it's like polluting.
It's doing its thing. Glorin says, oh my gosh, this
That's
is gold.
Probably horrible.
No, it's just different.
Yeah, it's different. And then there's like a person inside.
There you go. The other day, someone submitted a contest of a car driving, and there's a dog driving the car. It's
Nice.
amazing. Yeah, Glorin says, very cute. He approves.
Good. Yeah, I'd love to get a design challenge, like design a car. Because, like, there's so many things that go into designing the car, even when I'm driving and I'm reaching over to, like, the radio, and there's, like, this big power button, and then there's, like, this display that tells you what the station is, like 89.7 or whatever, and like all these like settings and stuff. Like, I don't think about how much time it takes to actually design all of that, and like how you have to really test it, but it's really interesting. Something that it's like a good design challenge.
I agree. It's very interesting. Someone said that they're having a hard time learning about like shadow and light, like when it falls on things. Do you have any? Depends what fabric it is or material, I guess.
Yeah. So let's say that you have like a gray house, and this is like the house, and there's like the sun coming from over here. And it's like
Cute.
hitting this side of the house. What I try to think about is like the light that's hitting this house is going to be it's going to be very bright. It's going to be slightly warm because of the sun. And so I'm not going to just do like a straight on like lighter version of it usually. I'll have something that's, instead of that, I'll have something that's a little bit warmer, like maybe this kind of brighter color. And this isn't even taking into account like the sky or anything like that, but you can kind of like use the elements around this thing to judge what the color should be. The other side of the house, I usually do like the complementary color to that, which would be like a bluish color or a purplish color. And so just kind of give it like the slightest hint of this tint to make it feel like less just straight on, like, you know, monochromatic, boring, but that it like really feels like it's existing somewhere. And then if we put it on like a plane of green grass, the grass is going to have an effect on the color of this bright side. So it's gonna like slightly reflect this greenish color. So you'll take this, like, let's say you have a white paint wall. It's gonna reflect the green slightly, so you don't have to make it like super green, but just even a little hint of it really helps to like sell the idea that you're like existing in this environment and you're like having something bounce light off of where you are. And that works for everything else. Like if there's another house that's next to it and it's like orange.
Ooh.
So let's say this house is like completely orange, and then this side is gonna reflect some of that orange color. The light from the sun is gonna like bounce off of this orange wall and onto this, which makes this house kind of like take on that color. And sometimes it's like really obvious. Like sometimes you look at the side of a wall and it's like, wow, it's really, even though it's like a white building, it's like taking on the orangey color of what's next to it. But it'll also usually be a very warm color if it's getting direct sun. So that's like something that you can think about when you're painting like the relationship between two things. And if there's somebody standing in between who's wearing like a blue shirt, they're going to affect that too. Like they're gonna have a slight effect on this orangey panel, so you can kind of like use that to your advantage. So you can kind of be like, oh, there's like a slight bluish hint to this wall. It's not just gonna be like, it's not just gonna be like white. It's not just gonna be orange. It's gonna take on the colors of everything around it.
Right. Have you done this before?
No.
It seems
I'm just
very...
making all of this up.
Wow.
Actually. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. The ground is going to be obviously brighter in areas where there's direct sun hitting it, and darker in areas where there isn't direct sun hitting it. So like anywhere where the houses are blocking the grass, it's going to be much darker. But you can even say like this green is not going to be just like the green of the grass. It's going to take on the shadow color of the house that it's like being hidden by. So you can give it like the opposite of yellow, which is blue or purple, and give it like a very like slight cast. To make it feel more like it's existing in that world.
Wow. Even just these little tiny things, it's already so convincing. And it's clearly like just a little cube house, but it looks real. It looks like that exists somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, Logan Mitchell. What's up? What happened to Turtis Cactus drawing?
Here.
That's how it ended. Isn't that amazing? Wowzer. I really like how there is that pop of orange and red.
So
Very
I actually did that kind of here, the color thing I was talking about. Like this blue hat reflects just slightly against the top wall of this cave.
I didn't even notice
So there's just
that.
a little tiny bit. You might not even notice it, but I think it helps, or at least it makes me feel like it adds to the depth of the piece.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I were looking at it close up and not from like 5 feet away, I would have seen it, and that's amazing.
So I could even do that more. Like, I didn't really go too deep on this, but I could even give like the area around this frog like a slightly greenish cast, to show that the rock is reflecting the green.
Yeah. Yeah, show us how
things
these
like
work in
that.
action.
Yeah,
in
sure.
context.
So this is the hill. I'm gonna go on top of this, make a new layer, and just kind of like lightly like give this a little bit of, it's maybe a bit too green right now, like it wouldn't be exactly that, so I'm gonna probably change it a little bit, like make it more bluish green, and then like lower it a little bit, make it more saturated. But basically I'm just like seeing, like doing some tests to see like whether this frog feels like it's more part of the environment if I add this like kind of structure to where it's existing, to kind of like make it more convincing and give it like a bit more foundation, because all the light reflects off of each other, and then it's kind of like acknowledging the existence of this frog for the rock. It's like the rock is like, yeah, this frog is on top, that's why I have this greenish cast on me. And I find that when things don't necessarily acknowledge each other's existence in a piece, it can come across like really digital or really fake, you know? And so sometimes it's just nice to add a little bit of that. Even if it's super subtle and like nobody notices it, it's kind of nice just to feel like you tried it. And then I could even do that here, for example, with this, let's say this vein of rock is kind of like an outcropping. I could give it just a little hint of taking on the color, because it's like maybe sticking out a little bit, so it's like being a little bit more affected by the light.
Wowza. So what colors might these grab? Like the glowy? Ooh,
Yeah, probably. So these like, they might reflect the water color, so the glowiness. So, but I probably won't do it too much just because I want it to feel like they're still just kind of rough foreground elements and they're not trying to grab your attention. But if you just lightly go over them, they can really feel like they're more part of the piece.
Yeah.
And also depends on your style, how graphic you want to go,
True.
but it helps a little bit.
Man, and somebody's saying it's like all these tiny little details really affect the overall painting, even though they're so small. But it really does. When are we going to look at entries? Well, first, we're going to do a giveaway, but then we can look at entries in a bit because we have a lot of awesome ones so far. So it is 4 o'clock, which means we're an hour into the stream, and that means a giveaway is nigh. It's coming. So we have these 3 posters that you can see on the screen. They are all illustrations that were created by awesome creatives here live on stream. The left we have Robzilla, Mr. T, Jingwei's in the middle with the pool party. On the right we have Christine Heron with the travel tags. So all you have to do is be at be.net/live. That's the best place to watch the stream. That's how you can interact with the community, learn about the contests, and look at the schedule. Go there, make sure you're active in chat, get the hype going. You can say hype in the chat. You can say Sophie's amazing in the chat. You can say how awesome dogs are in the chat. Say whatever you want. Or you could say a keyword that Sophie makes up. What's the keyword?
Bananas.
Bananas. You can say bananas in the chat. Really, all you have to do is just be active, say something in chat, and we will run our mysterious scripty algorithm magic. And we'll pick a winner at random. Are you guys ready? I think people are ready. Sophie is quite amazing and her dog is also amazing. Banana, animals are cool. Great interacting with all these creatives. Totally agree. You want the poster of a Sophie illustration? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime in the future.
That would
Who
be cool.
knows? Oranges. Yes, the hype is going. And if you have never chatted before, but you've been watching, now is the time to say something, because you could win these 3 posters. Yay, keep it going, you guys. I want pictures of Sophie's dog. You can find them on her Instagram.
Yeah, have many.
Snow Pea Snow is her Instagram name. All right, we have a winner. It's calculating. It's calculating. Oh, this is someone that has been with us for all 3 days. Our winner of the 3 awesome live illustrations is
Ashley Polka.
Ashley. Congratulations! Woo! Thank you for being with us all 3 days. See, it pays off. You win the giveaway. It's not actually like that. It's just random, but thank you for being
Woohoo.
here. So much bananas going on in the chat right now. Yay, woohoo, congrats! Unfortunately, that was the last chance to win these posters because this is the last stream. So sad. Yes, the Adobe Live team will message you directly on Behance, but this isn't your last chance to win anything. We are going to be doing our final contest here in about 40 minutes, so you have 40 minutes to enter. We've done, let's see, 2 other themes. Today is the last theme, and the theme is Crown. It's inspired by Corey Brickley. If you're just stopping in, this is kind of an overview of the contest. All you have to do is use the most recent versions of Photoshop and Illustrator to make an illustration based around the theme, and then share that link with us either on be.net/live and click on the contest tab, or if you want to be a little more simple, go to bit.ly/submit-adobe. So you have 40 minutes. Yay! Bye, Madison. See you later. Hi, Mom again. Nice. Are you just adding some more little deets?
Yeah, just adding some deets. You know, still feel like it's just massaging at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to share more like color tips or things like that with everybody.
Yeah. Definitely. Maybe while people are asking for more tips, please ask in the chat what you want to see from Sophie, because we only have 45 more minutes with her. While we're doing that, maybe we can look at some contest entries. So these have come in since Corey's stream and into Sophie's stream. Here is one by Wakar. Oh, it looks like it's inspired by your little creature.
What's the theme today?
Crown.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I want that crown. Looks delicious.
Nice.
Oh, we saw the updated, or this is the updated version of this. I love this one.
Yeah, this is great. I love
You
pigs.
are just the best. She is so fabulous. Love that. Josephine, great job. Ooh, Andre. He's very
Yeah, cool lighting.
mysterious. Yeah, that is cool lighting. And then there's actually a slight half-tone texture down here in the yellow that you can't really see.
Nice.
Very nice, Andre. Andre from Portugal. Oh, nice. This is another pig? Vampire pig? Cute.
Spooky.
Yes, it is spooky. Looks like a villain of some sort.
Wow.
Yeah, look at all these. Whoa. Looks like maybe you created some patterns with Capture, possibly. Very nice, Neha. Oh, cool. I think this is from Leon, perchance, and it looks like you're taking advantage of the new, I forget what the tool is called, but there's a tool in Photoshop where you can draw on one side and it'll reflect. Maybe you can tell me in chat. The name is escaping me. It's like reflection or something. Oh, cute. This looks like one that we saw yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I think it's the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Pumpkin thing.
Yeah, Pumpkin King. Love it. Cute. Very graphic. We got Neha again. Nice.
Flamingo. That's nice.
Yeah, I like the texture. Symmetry, that's what it's called, Alexander. Thank you. Oh, wow. Very cool. What's this guy doing over here?
Skydiving.
Yeah. That adds kind of a scary element. Nice. And final, Jeremy. Very cool. So these are just the entries that have been submitted so far. You have about 35 more minutes to submit. So get your entries in and one of you will win Creative Cloud for a year. Amazing.
Woohoo. So I guess I'll go back to this drawing now. this document.
Yeah.
It's full of random stuff, so if you guys feel like you want to know something, just ask.
Please, this is a great resource. She's only here for another like 30 minutes. Ask away. Please tips on landscapes.
Landscapes. Each landscape is very different, so I don't know. I guess maybe you're asking about composition, like how to compose something within a frame so that feels expansive.
I have trouble with that. I'd like to know.
So composition's really fun. I think it's like one of the easiest things someone can get into if they're just starting out like designing things. It's basically like just putting shapes on paper and seeing what looks pleasing. So let's say one thing we did in layout class in CalArts was my teacher would say, make something that feels dynamic, make something that feels peaceful, and make something that feels like angry.
Ooh.
And so like basically these adjectives kind of help you decide what to like how to position your shapes and your curves and stuff. So one example of something that's dynamic I can think of is like an ocean wave. So like the ocean wave is already like a really iconic feeling, but like what people can think of when they're like making something that they want to feel dynamic is like it's not gonna feel super like you can make something that's just basically like this and the whole thing is like really wavy and shapy, But I find that it helps if you have something to compare it to. So like having a horizon line, or even having like a straight across cloud or something like in the background kind of helps make it feel like, oh, this is really crazy in comparison, you know? Like the fact that this wave is like towering on top of all these things, and, you know, maybe even about to crash on like a little boat or something.
No, it's my worst fear.
So let's say you have this ocean scene and you have like a little boat here. Sorry. Oops. Boat here. And it's like, that's really scary. So this is like an example of a dynamic thing. One thing that you see a lot in cinema is it's called a Dutch angle, when like things start to get tilted a little bit.
Ooh.
So you could either tilt it like this or like this. This kind of works because it like makes it feel like this is lower in the scene and therefore has less power hierarchically. And that's something that really matters in composition, is like, what is the most powerful thing? What do you feel drawn to? Like, what do you think is gonna, if like all the elements in the scene are like fighting each other, what's gonna win? And that really helps to like kind of help you think about your elements as like living things that have personality. And so this would be, I would say, like a dynamic composition. And an example of a peaceful composition, like usually when you think peaceful, you think like, what do you think of?
Airy.
Airy. Able
to breathe.
So like a lot of space.
Yeah.
Nothing's really like close together or claustrophobic. I tend to think of like harmony, like straight lines, like everything's just kind of like, you know, parallel to each other maybe, and maybe like a few like circles here and there just to give those straight lines a little bit of something to react to. But I normally don't think of things that are open-ended. Like if I have this huge shape here, it's like, what is this shape? Like the fact that it's not finished it adds like this intrinsic unease to the piece. You're like, what is on the edge of this piece? Like, I didn't know that this was going to be unfinished, you know, like what am I looking at?
Right.
And so it kind of helps, if you want something to feel peaceful, for everything to be framed in the shot like all together. So like if you have this picture of a house that you want to draw, and it's like within these mountains, for example, you want to have all the mountains in there, like, and you don't want to have anything like hanging off the edge. So you're gonna want to see the mountains finish and resolve at the end. You know, you're gonna want to see like this really peaceful, like maybe a lot of like expanse. So you're like this house has a lot of room to breathe. It's very like isolated, but in a good way, you know. It's not going to be like crowded in by all these things. You don't want to have too much like this is going to be very scary because it's like a storm, you know. So you want kind of things to be harmonious. The colors should be relatively like not jarring, and I think you can kind of see like this is inherently peaceful just because everything's like finished and resolved. But you can make the same composition really scary if you like cropped in super close, for example, and you made it all like Dutch angle or something. Like you have this house that's really small and it's being closed in upon by all these shapes in the background, and you have like maybe some weeds or something in the foreground really close to the camera that are kind of closing in on it. And like this is the same exact place, let's say, but it's like suddenly you're not sure what's going on. You're like, who am I? Like what position am I in?
Exactly.
Am I looking at this because it's like something bad's gonna happen? Like, am I from the point of view of like an attacker, or is there something in the house that is uneasy, like I should be scared of? And you're just kind of like thrown off, like all of these questions are coming up, whereas this is like, okay, you know, I know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
And
It's like a check mark. You're like,
yeah.
got it. Good.
Yeah. So these are kind of like what I would think of when I think of a composition or a landscape. The same landscape can look really, really different depending on how you depict it. And it's really a matter of like the emotion that you want to get across in your piece. And I think that's something you have to really think about before you start, because it's very hard to go from like, let's say you started painting like this, and you decide halfway through that you want it to look like this. You're gonna have to like redo almost the entire thing, and so that's something to think about as you start.
Wow. Knowledge bombs were dropped. That's amazing. Have you had this? I'm sure you have to think about it pretty much every time you create, but can you think of a time where you, like, it clicked for you? Or like maybe with the Google Doodle, like the composition, it seems so specific and how you got this across.
There's been, I've done so many landscapes now that usually I want them to feel peaceful because it's kind of like an escapist thing for me. Like, oh, I wish I were here, you know, I wish I'm remembering a nice memory or something. It comes up more if I'm trying to do something based on a feeling of fear or feeling of unease. And so in moments like that, it's been really helpful to think like, okay, how many questions can I put in the viewer's mind, you know? Like what's the you know, if you see something that's kind of like a beautiful like mountain and there's a field and you're like, oh, this is great, you know, it's very peaceful. You're kind of not asking any questions.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I know exactly what this is. It's like Mount Fuji or something, and there's the moon and everything's in its right place and you feel okay. But if you start to introduce some weird elements, like if you make everything super, maybe everything's like super, you can do this with color where you like reduce the colors a lot, or you can do it with like introducing different elements, adding like maybe a creature in the background or something, you know, like, why is this thing so tall? Suddenly I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Attack on Titan.
Yeah. And so it's kind of fun to like flip the table on some of these things and make sure you're not, like, you are being intentional about the type of thing you want to get across and the type of emotion. Because in the end, like, a drawing is, you're just like making an emotion or you're making a thought and committing it to a screen or a piece of paper. And it's a very visceral thing. You can look at it right away and you start feeling all these things. And so it's like, what are the most interesting things to feel? I think that's an interesting thing to learn or create with drawings.
Yeah. Wow, I wonder if you guys in chat, have you ever seen a piece of art where you just had a visceral reaction, like your body reacted, like, oh, that's scary, or that makes me feel really peaceful? Attack on Titan blew my mind. Agreed. Man, people are like, Sophie, please keep talking. Keep laying it down. We want to know.
So I think maybe a fun exercise would be like giving me some adjectives and I could like create a composition around it, because that's been pretty fun currently to just figure out.
Definitely. Anton Semenov's work is inspiring for Vlad. Georgia O'Keeffe abstract. Very nice. Monet, when you saw his work in person, you had a reaction? Yeah. Slick. Stress.
Stress. Okay.
Oh, no. That's a noun. But
so,
it's okay.
Stress. For me, when I get stressed out, I feel like everything's weighing on me, you know, like your chest gets kind of like tight, like your shoulders bunch up, and it feels like there's a lot of weight on you, like a lot of downward pressure. And at the same time, it's like a pressure cooker where like everything in here is like kind of bubbling and you don't know, you're like waiting for it to release, but you don't know how. And so that's kind of an interesting emotion to create a composition around. I think you could have, let's say, like, if you have a lot of downward lines, I'm not sure what kind of landscape would have a lot of downward lines, maybe like a canyon or something.
Oh.
I would even, for this, I would flip the canvas around so it's vertical, that we have even more downward pressure.
Yeah.
And so I could see it just being like this, all these like downward lines, like maybe you're inside of a volcano or something. There's a lot of like stuff on the walls, like lava or something dripping down, and then there's maybe like somebody or something like here kind of balled up and, you know, can't really move or something like that, like trapped in by all these rocks or something like that. If I had to illustrate the feeling of stress, it's kind of like feeling like you can't move, you're not able to really free yourself, at the same time you can't find a way out. And so I could see, maybe I would do, like, if I had to color it, I would do a lot of bright but also kind of like disturbing colors, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
like lots of
Yee.
reds. Let's do this. Reds and like purples maybe, because it's a darker, slightly darker version of red. Oops.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Should just be a transparent gradient.
Oh,
Oops.
nice.
Oh, it's sorry, it's reversed. I forgot.
Boom.
Could even do like, you don't like it, so maybe there's some glimmer of hope, like some lava coming down or something. But it's also like turning, you know, it's turning everything kind of like this molten feeling of not being able to move. Beneath you could have these rocks that are really dark and scary looking. So kind of winging it here, but this
nice.
These shapes that are not allowing you to really be yourself. And you want a lot of contrast here, so I think I would make the bottom, like the floor, a very dark color. And make this thing or person in the middle like a slightly lighter color. Maybe even a blue, so they stand out even more.
Oh, definitely. So little.
Yeah.
Okay, little guy.
It's kind of interesting being this small and not knowing what to do. Maybe giving it a little bit more like contrast here. So let's see. That's a bit interesting. I might just screw this a little bit. Maybe make this. Whoa, that's trippy.
Yeah, very much so.
I don't know if this is quite hitting. It feels stressful.
It does.
It's interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is kind of what I think of when illustrating stress, is like the downward pressure and like the angles in, you know, not being able to not being able to get out or escape. And I think there could be more like covering this, so maybe there are brambles or something, like hooking over the top that you know, that are like creating this net, you know? And like this tangled up visual is like really close to how a lot of people describe having panic attacks or things like that, you know? Like just being, like everything's kind of jumbled up and you can't quite understand what's happening.
Right.
Or like untangle it. So, yeah, pretty abstract.
There you go. I think that's totally right. Like if I feel stressed or anxious, it seems like you can't move and you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of wait for that feeling to go away. And sometimes it feels like it never will. Such is life.
Mm-hmm. Anyone got another adjective or emotion?
Mm-hmm. Please do. And while you are learning all these little nuggets from Sophie, you have 20 minutes left to get your submission in. So hopefully you can maybe integrate some of this stuff into your submissions. The contest ends in 20 minutes. It's your last chance to win this week. The theme is Crown, so you just have to make an illustration based on the theme using Photoshop or Illustrator CC 2018. And then share the link with us either on be.net/live, best place to watch from. Click on the contest tab there, or you can use the link that you see on the screen now. Boom, we've got a lot of awesome entries. They just keep coming in. Letting go, hate. Amazing insights, I agree.
Let's see. Hate is an interesting one. I mean, these are so negative. Maybe I'll do something happy.
Yeah.
Passion. Passion is like a very active, it's a very active kind of emotion, like slash state of mind. Kind of implies like you're trying to get out, you're trying to create something, or you're like so motivated, you know? There's like this really forward feeling about it. It could be interesting to relate that to like flying or something. Humans can't fly, but we have flying dreams, which I always think is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we even like feel like that, you know?
Why do we want to?
Yeah.
Because it's amazing.
And so I think that could be something that's pretty interesting, is like if you have a semi like fantastical, like maybe an aerial thing where you're kind of in the sky and there's like clouds and stuff all around you. This is the ground below, so this is like the perspective very quickly. These are the hills. You could even like move it slightly so that you can see more of the ground, and that way it's very obvious that you're like high up above everything. I like to do these big clouds sometimes where they're like so big they're kind of towering over everything else, or like the biggest thing around. And I think there's something very nice about a buoyant cloud that's just like, we never really get those here. I think they're more of a Midwestern thing. It's a huge cloud. And the contrast between like little clouds, like little skinny clouds and little wispy clouds, and like big ones is also really cool. One thing that I like to illustrate is space shuttles taking off.
Oh.
And so I think there's something like inherently passionate about the desire for humans to like enter space, or the desire for, you know, us to send something into the upper atmosphere. And so there's like this kind of inherent joy and this like trajectory of like something leaving the Earth's atmosphere. And I think that could be part of this illustration, this landscape that's passionate.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I guess I usually take off over water, so I'll edit this slightly. So it's like an ocean.
Right. There is also, I forget what the movie's called. It's like Red October, October Sky.
Oh,
something.
October Sky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
that's a
those
great
kids
movie.
Launched a rocket in a cornfield. That's very Midwestern.
Mm-hmm.
Midwestern passionate work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
So these are islands, I guess, or some kind of, this is a dock or something. I don't
Mhm.
know. But yeah, I think this is like what I would see when I think of the word passion.
Yeah.
Because you need a lot of passionate people in order to make this happen.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I feel like passion is always working towards like an apex. Like, what is the one thing that you want? And this is it.
Mhm.
They want to send this rocket, and it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that snapshot that makes it all worth it. So if it's passionate and it's triumphant, what kind of colors do you think would be appropriate?
Well, I guess the ones that come to my mind are bright, but I think the cool thing about like a positive, or I guess passion isn't always positive, but like
Yeah.
the cool thing about this like kind of active emotion is that like you need the muted colors to make it really pop.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd probably do something where I have maybe a more muted palette, maybe like a dusk type.
Ah.
Something like
Ooh.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the brightest thing would be the rocket, if that makes sense. Yeah, that works. I guess like the steam from the rocket is usually pure white,
Mm-hmm.
so I would play with that a little bit, but at the same time this would reflect or take on the colors of the sky around it. This like water vapor, so it would probably be a little bit more like peachy, you know?
Oh yeah.
It would probably take on this kind of color. And I think I would try to save it so that the brightest thing is actually the glimmer on the rocket,
Mm-hmm.
which means the rocket itself would be dark, but the glimmer would be like pure white. And then I would darken the sky just slightly so that it pops a bit more. Kind of give the water would also reflect the sky. So it's another easy way to do a reflection is just to like make the water would be a little bit darker in the sky, but it'd be pretty much the same hues. This mountain, actually I did a piece very similar to this. It's in my Behance, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Is it the Cape Canaveral
Yeah.
blast off? Yes. Blast off. Is that what it's called? No.
It's called something like that.
Oh, that's funny. Have you ever seen
No,
a
I've always
rocket
wanted
take off?
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been to Cape Canaveral, but I've never seen it happen.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
I always wanted to see it happen.
Yeah, it's like once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Might make this a little bit brighter. And let's see. There's
What about the water? Is it still over water?
Yeah, it's still over water.
Would
I
it be
think
reflecting?
the water would, yeah, so it would be reflecting this, like, rocket. Probably be like,
Ooh, cool.
that'd be kind of cool, yeah. And then, it wouldn't be entirely, I think there would be some land here to kind of, for it to take off of.
Mm-hmm.
Could probably be brighter actually. So it's a little dim right now. And that gives this like a slightly more of a pop, this like smoke and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Add some stars. Whoops.
Photoshop, please. Oh, your classic stars.
Stars.
Yay. What is your technique for laying these down? Because they have to look random, but also
Yeah.
like well placed.
I just try to make sure there's not too many like in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then I make sure the size is slightly different. But you know, it's okay if it looks kind of like a pattern because the shape itself is like a pattern. You know, it's like an X.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to look like completely
Oh,
random.
that's true.
So the giant cloud here, and I think like these clouds, they have like this orangey tint, but the bulk of them is usually at sunset. It's usually like much darker or like
Mhm.
even blue. So
Yeah.
try giving it like this bluish tint and see how that looks.
Yeah, clouds at sunset are so interesting because it's like such intense light
Mhm.
going through something so ethereal.
Mhm.
They actually literally glow. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, they're my favorite thing. I try to capture them with my phone camera, but they never look
No, never.
never look right.
You guys, you've got about 7 minutes to enter the contest. So if you are interested, click over onto the contest tab. Hopefully you've been working on it the whole time, but if not, 7 minutes, you could get something done. Who says you can't? Theme is crown. Make it with Photoshop or Illustrator, and then share the link either in the contest tab or the link you see on screen right now. Go, go, go! We have a lot of amazing entrants. You're gonna have a hard time.
Good.
Not gonna lie.
I kind of like the brighter. Yeah, so I'll just delete this and I will add. I'll just draw this in. Draw in this reflection. 'Cause why not?
Yeah. Wow, this is so incredible. I've really liked watching you do these little like thumbnails.
Oh, good.
And I know everyone else has. They're so inspired. People were saying an impromptu art lesson from Sophie. I was not expecting it.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Passion.
Mm-hmm.
This is a human experience, I guess. It's like trying to figure out what we are and our place in the universe, and it's
Mhm.
very passionate.
Definitely. Wowza. My mind, it feels so peaceful right now. Yeah, it seems like you guys are really liking these live streams. I really appreciate you staying here. been really fun.
What else?
Yeah, we got about 5 more minutes. Got time for one more.
One more.
One more quick one. Loving it, says Paul. Any ideas? Any ideas?
One more emotion or one more feeling?
Yeah. Dealer's choice. Ooh.
Mm.
How are you feeling? Anything you want to share visually?
Loneliness.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh. No, I'm just reading off the chat. Reverence. Hope, all caps.
Envy.
I think I will try loneliness. That's a pretty good one.
Perfect.
I think people can feel alone when they're alone, obviously, but I think there's also like a more sweet type of loneliness when like you feel alone but there's a bunch of people near you, or like you feel like you can't relate to others despite there being a lot of people around. I feel like I'm gonna put this person kind of off-centered because they literally feel off-center. They're like not sure what their place is. I think I will maybe use some like power lines or something. Make them go off the screen a little bit because it's kind of like they're much bigger and they're unfinished, and something about being unfinished in a composition like makes you feel like there's more going on that you don't know about, which is also part of loneliness. Feeling like you're missing out. I think there could be maybe some like a lot going on around her or around this person that's like probably you're not a part of, so maybe like a cityscape behind them. Something that just feels like there's a hubbub, you know, like in cities people can often feel very lonely because they're not really talking to anyone, but they can just go through life without hardly like engaging with other people, and that's a very lonely feeling.
And that whole skyline, it looks very connected. Like everyone else is connected except for this person.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's like some hints of other people, but like they're too far away to really connect to, so maybe like a train. Maybe like some, you know, benches or businesses here that are like full of people. You could even add some color with lights and stuff, or like ways to make it feel lively but like very remote. I think like having a lot of lights going on will really help to make it feel like there's other people around, but they're not really around. Let's see, what should I do for the front? There's something inherently lonely about like train tracks. I like the idea of having train tracks because it's like you're just seeing things pass by. And there's maybe like some rocks or something. There's like an uncanny valley, or there's like this in-between space where you're sort of in nature, but you're also like not completely in nature, like you're kind of caught between two worlds, and you're near a city but you're also near like foliage and plants, but at the same time they're like manufactured, you know? They're like placed there specifically for like the train to go by and go through. So it doesn't really feel like it's a place where you can relax. And so this is what I would submit for the feeling of loneliness.
Goodness, you did that right on time. That was perfect. My goodness, that looks like so disparate. Like, I don't know. Especially those weeds and things that you added right at the end. That definitely added. Like, they're somewhere that they shouldn't really be.
Yeah.
All the feels.
Thanks, guys, for suggesting all the cool stuff.
Yeah, you did amazing. I think people really learned a lot.
Good.
Yeah, so contest is over. Don't know if you know that, but it is 4:45, 4:46 actually, technically. And we have a lot of amazing entries, so we're going to look at them all, and the winner is going to win a year of Creative Cloud, which is great. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me know if there are any that you really love, and we will kind of star those in our minds. Here's one super cute, a Magdalena. Greetings from
Awesome.
Argentina. Yeah, super cute.
Oh.
Yeah, I love the shape character of this brush. So cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Oh,
Ooh.
graphic.
Mm-hmm. With some nice textures. Oh, haven't seen anything like this.
No, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, how do you do this? I think that's from Vlad, maybe? Great job, Vlad. Gingerbread from Jeanette.
It's very timely.
Yeah,
it's almost
right?
time for gingerbread.
Mm-hmm. This is from Linda. Oh my gosh. All right, very literal. Here we go on to the next one. Oh, we saw this one earlier. It looks like they might have updated it a little bit. Really beautiful. Majestic Centaur from Ruben. Nice job, Ruben. Cute. It's like a literal crown on a tooth.
Oh.
Yeah. Nice job, Liana.
Ooh, creepy.
Super creepy. What even? Oh, I
Oh,
love
nice.
this one.
It's like Ronald Searle, kind of.
There's definitely a story here. You can see all of the action going on. From Rolo. Nice job. Got a little,
Sweet.
little reference going on here. There's like a self-portrait maybe of Logan with a crown. Ooh, the pawn wins. Very interesting. Oh, spooky. From Paul. I don't want to go anywhere near that guy. Looks like he has candy in his jacket, and I don't want any of it. And then this is back to the ones that we've already seen. Cute. The cute little pig. This nice smarmy fellow. This villain man. Cool patterns from Neha.
Nice.
It's from Leon, using the symmetry tool.
Cool.
Check it out in Photoshop 2018. My favorite little pumpkin man. Cute graphic bee king. Flamingo. And the skydiving king of the sun.
I have to say, I really like the one with the queen chopping off the person's head.
I like that one too. All right, let's see. That is from Rolo Mirfino from New Zealand.
It's awesome.
Congratulations, my friend. You have won a year of Creative Cloud.
Woo!
Yeah. They changed their mind, but it's too late to submit. Sorry, Jeremy. Seriously, you guys have been amazing. We've gotten hundreds of submissions over the last 3 days. And that, I wouldn't have it any other way. Bring more next time. Bring thousands. Why not? Yeah, congrats for Rolo. So yes, the Adobe Live team will message you on Behance. Be on the lookout in your messages. Anybody have any last minute questions or comments for Sophie before she goes? Because this is the very last stream of the week. So sad.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. You've been great.
Yeah, so active in chat. You know, when you guys are so awesome, it makes our jobs really easy. I think. And everyone's so supportive of each other. Very nice. Best part about working at Google? Go.
The food.
I was just gonna say the food. So funny. Yes, Adobe Live team, thank you for posting that. So make sure to follow Sophie on Instagram, and if for some reason you want to follow me too, go ahead. Are you married?
No.
We're not married to each other. Is that what you mean? No. Just kidding. Yeah, great work, you guys. So you have Snow on Instagram. What is Twitter for you?
Sophie Diao. Just my full name on Twitter.
Gotcha. And then the best portfolio to check you out on?
My website and now Behance is good. My website is just sophiediao.com and my Behance is Sophie Diao. Behance?
Behance.net/Sophie Diao. Boom. Yay! Thank you guys so much for being here, and let us know in chat if you're going to be here next week for the UX stream. And also let us know if there's any other things you'd like us to cover. Like there's going to be a photography stream. Would you like some video stuff, motion design? Let us know. Ooh, Vlad says, by the way, Sophie. We have to wait for whatever he has to say. Ellie, nice to have you here. I know that you run an awesome illustration Instagram, so keep up the good work there. Oh, no way. Are you serious, Vlad? That's
Nice.
Crazy.
That's so cool.
Man, thank you guys so much for being here. We will be back next week, Tuesday through Thursday, 9 to 5 Pacific time in San Francisco. So we'll see you
Thanks,
then.
everyone.
Yeah, bye, Mom.
Bye.